Hi, my name is Cassandra from TripNM, and I will answer the question 1. Analyze the future and output produced from Tricot and Rachel Watt knitting machines. As we can see from this slide, this one is the Tricot Watt knitting machines. For the machine descriptions, this machine is using compound needle in the machines. With the help of the pattern drums and the chains link, the patterning is done. And then in the machine, the gear are merged in oil bar for smooth operations. There are two back beams for yarn supply. The yarns come through guide bar and through the needle. The cloth is taken down by cloth roller. And this slide is about the diagram for Tricot Watt knitting machines. As we can see here, there is all point that subscribe what is the main component of the machines. There are 20 main components of these machines. For example, compound needle, pattern chain, needle bar, pattern drum, guide bar, main shaft, and etc. Future of Tricot Watt knitting machines. Okay, for the first point, Tricot machines are mainly employed by using beader needle with a pressure bar. Tricot sinkers are joined to each other at the front and back, never move to clear of the needles as combine the functions of holding down, knocking over and supporting the fabric loops. And the product knit fabric is drawn away toward the batching roller, almost all at right angle to the needle bar. Tricot machine has a gauge expressed in needle per inch and chain link numbering from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and etc. From this slide is about the elements in a bare needle Tricot machines and the produce output from these machines. From the left side, we can see there is the bare needles, two guiders, and the sinkers. The fabric will roll to the front of the machines. And then for the right side, we can see that there is the structure for the Tricot machine they produce. And then this is the example for the product output from Tricot machine. First is fabric patterns, juicy fabric structure, and knitwear. And for this slide this is the example machines for Rachel Watt knitting machines. Okay, for this machine descriptions, Rachel Watt knitting machine is used for lace fabric and trimmings. It is also used to product in outdoor and military fabric for products such as backpack. First is Rachel machine use latch needles together with a large wire or blade. Okay, yarn to fabric part diagram of Rachel Watt knitting machines. From this picture we can see it shows that the diagram of the Rachel Watt knitting machines. Okay, we can see from the back of the machines, front of the machines, there is 4 warp that on top of the machines, and some fabric roll, warp tension roller, knitting elements, fabric take up roller, take up beams, machine bed, main essential shaft. This is the main part of the machines for Rachel Watt knitting machines. Okay, this is how I present about the future of Rachel Watt knitting machines. For the first point, we can see that Rachel machine are using large needle together with a large wire or blade. The second point is Rachel sinkers only perform the function of holding down the loop while the needle rise and not joined together by a lead across their ends nearest to the needle bar. For the third point, the fabric is drawn downward from the needles almost parallel to the needle bar at an angle of 120 to 160 degrees by a series of takedown roller. Last point is the chain links are usually numbered in even number, that is 2, 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10, generally with 2 links per course.
for this task, I will describe to you the advantage and the disadvantage of tricot and partial warp knitting machines. For the advantage of tricot, first, it is a very simple machine construction and it can produce a soft fabric touch. Next, the high number of cores are possible up to total stop of the beams for pleats, because the working without fabric can take up is possible. Fabric using tricot machines also can be produced from a minimum number of yarns, even only with one yarn. And although approximately half of the tricot machines is in current use to make a plain fabric on 2 guide bars, but there is an increasing of interest in the pattern knitting. And for these tricot machines, it is low maintenance and less working hour, and tricot also possible to produce high elastic and a very fine fabric. So for the disadvantage of tricot is the problem with the number of stitches and the reduced yarn run in, which is fabric can take up only 90 degrees. The processing of elastomer yarn are mainly possible only as a loop, and the net constructions are difficult to meet since the knock-over of the wheels connections is not possible because the lateral 2-point knock-over. And the processing of filler yarns is very difficult because as you can see, fabric can take up to 90 degrees. For the advantage of partial warp knitting machines, first, it is high quality of net productions. Second, it can be used various material, which is film tapes, glass, aramide, carbon, metal wires. Next, it also allows for interesting texture and design to be created. And the qualities of this fabric range are from dense to compact. The qualities of this fabric range from dense and compact to open and lofty. Then it also can be either stable or stretchy, and single phase or reversible. For the disadvantage of partial warp knitting machines, first, starting out only with fabric take-up. Second, loose yarn run in, which is overfit, and high stitch densities are not possible because the fabric touch less will be less soft. So next, the longer yarn part due to beams positions and changing of needles only from the back sides. And lastly, the fixing problem due to machines functions can take a lot of time and become a great aggravation because partial warp knitting is very difficult to be done by hand.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Muhammad Akmal bin Abdul Karim from Group 3. Now I would like to present about list the application of the output by the tricot and ratio warp knitting machine. For the tricot warp knitting, there are several that we use in our daily life, such as automotive textile, home textile, lightweight coating, lining fabric, and outerwear. This is example for the automotive textile, where you can see at the cushion of the car, we use a tricot knitting. And for the hand textile, it mostly apply for the towel, for the pillowcases, and bed sheet. For the lightweight coating substrate, we mostly apply for the bag that we use to go to our class, and for the safety sheet building, where we can see that the big sheet that cover the construction building. For the lining fabric, mostly used for the shoes, where the shoes that using fabric. And for the outerwear, it mostly using to make warmly clothes, such as a sweater.
Okay, so these are the applications of striker work knitting, and from every range, which is we can see the example of yarn used for automotive textile, home textile, lightweight coating substrates. For the lining fabric and the outerwear, and as we can see for the outerwear, it use knitted wear and a jacket.
Now for the application of pressure knitting, is mostly using for the sport net, spacer fabric, bandage, and mesh structure fabric. For the sport net, such as a football net, netball net, ping pong net, and badminton net, is mostly using racial wrap knitting. And for the spacer fabric, there are two specific spacer fabric, where the first each much more space, uh, and other is much more little space. And for bandage, also using racial fabric. And lastly is mesh structure. Mesh structure mostly used for underwear using. That's all from me. Thank you.
These are the example of the applications of racial warp knitting machines such as sport nets, spacer fabric, and the bandage. Lastly, these are the example of the mesh structure from the racial warp knitting machines.